For the Kingdom Report, I'm Wade Heath with another edition of the Disney News Update with breaking news. Before we get to that, as always, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with the notification bell turned on so you never miss a Disney News Update. It has happened. Disney CEO Bob Chapek has received a new long-term contract with the Walt Disney Company. Deadline reports that the board has met this week, and directors voted unanimously to replace his current deal, which expires in February 2023 with a new 3-year agreement starting July the 1st. Quote, Disney was dealt a tough hand by the pandemic, yet with Bob at the helm, our businesses, from parks to streaming, not only weathered the storm, but emerged in a position of strength, said Susan Arnold, the chairman of the board. Adding, in this important time of growth and transformation, the board is committed to keeping Disney on the successful path it is on today, and Bob's leadership is key to achieving that goal. Bob is the right leader at the right time for the Walt Disney Company, and the board has full confidence in him and his leadership team. Close quote. Chapek has been having a rough ride as CEO, and some wondered whether a longer-term future for him atop the media giant was in the cards. Board Chairman Susan Arnold came out in support of Chapek this month after an executive shuffle that included the firing of content chief Peter Rice. Quote, leading this great company is the honor of a lifetime, and I am grateful to the board for their support, Chapek said, adding, I started at Disney almost 30 years ago, and today I have the privilege of leading one of the world's greatest, most dynamic companies, bringing joy to millions around the world. I am thrilled to work alongside the incredible storytellers, employees, and cast members who make magic every day. Close quote. Chapek, age 63, was named CEO in February 2020 just as COVID shuttered the global economy. He took the reins from Bob Iger in what was a rocky transition as the former chief remained on to oversee Disney's creative businesses before exiting. Prior to becoming CEO, Chapek headed Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products. He ran Disney Consumer Products and served as president of distribution for the Walt Disney Studios and president of Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment. Chapek's promotion to the top job was a surprise to Hollywood and Wall Street. He was not at all well known to either. Since then, he had taken a few reputational hits, including a high-profile legal scuffle with Scarlett Johansson, and from perceived waffling around Florida's parental rights and education bill. Disney became Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' punching bag and lost a special economic zone in the state after Chapek spoke out at the annual meeting in March, but not before alienating many employees by his public silence. The contract announced today puts to rest, at least for now, the issue of his ongoing tenure at Disney. In a SEC filing, the company said the new contract calls for Chapek to be granted a long-term incentive award with a target value of not less than $20 million annually. Also, the proportion of his long-term incentive award, comprised of performance-based restricted stock units, will be increased to 60%. It noted the awards don't guarantee any minimum amount of compensation since they're based on achieving certain metrics or stock price. The remaining details of his new contract, including base salary, still are being worked out. Once again, our thanks to Deadline for that story. And there you have it. Disney CEO Bob Chapek isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And with renewed confidence by the board of directors, Bob Chapek remains at the helm of the Walt Disney Company. Earlier this past week, on Kingdom Report Live, our studio broadcast, members of our team sounded off as to just how they felt Bob Chapek has been doing since taking on the role of CEO and how he's been doing as of late with less than a year on his current contract. The results may surprise you. We also went ahead and asked you over on our YouTube community page exactly how you felt Bob Chapek was doing, and in the following segment, you definitely sounded off. Here now is that segment from Kingdom Report Live.
I'll tell you, after firing Disney's head of entertainment content, Disney CEO Bob Chapek received the following public statement from the Disney Board of Directors reaffirming their support of the chief executive. saying, quote, "The strength of the Walt Disney Company's businesses coming out of the pandemic is a testament to Bob's leadership and vision for the company's future. In this important time of business growth and transformation, we are committed to keeping Disney on the successful path it is on today, and Bob and his leadership team have the support and confidence of the board." How about that? Less than a year left in the guy's contract. It is something.
No, don't go.
It is something that has led many of us to go, that's an odd time to be making a statement. Board of directors, especially after firing basically your head of entertainment content, and certainly the person that was seen as your successor as a CEO. A lot of folks are sort of scratching their heads, and unfortunately this has led to reportedly record low morale within the company. Pretty wild when you think about it. We will first turn this over to Tyler Crouch and ask, how's Bob Chapek doing?
Well, obviously the optics of the whole situation are bad. He's in that front. He's definitely getting an F, for failure. I think that he just has such little personality on top of that, and just is such a poor public speaker that it's just hard to get behind the guy. And I feel like kind of one of the things that I guess has been a staple of Disney is that we've had these, big bombastic kind of CEOs over the years. I mean, it's, you gotta follow up Walt Disney. I mean, that man is impossible to beat, but these people need to try hard to have a public face that makes people feel good about the company. And I think on that front, he's totally failing. And the whole thing where they've delayed the move to Florida now for the Imagineers is just inexcusable. And I'm not saying that was all. Who knows if that was all his idea? I'm sure he had a lot to do with it, but still, they're trying to save money for themselves, and they're just pooping on their cast members. Like let's be real. So. He's not doing a great job from my perspective. Now, who's to say that maybe he's saving the company a lot of money, and that they maybe love him for that on the inside, but from my perspective, I don't even know what to say about the guy anymore, because I've just trashed him so much, and I just feel like he deserves it. Like, I don't know what else to say. So that's how I feel about Bob Chapek.
Well, there's the status report from the perspective of one Tyler Crouch. We turn it on over to all of you at our YouTube community page and asked, how do you think Bob Chapek is doing as CEO? Steven says, I am sure glad I don't have any Disney stock right now. That's a wrap, says Disney. Listen to the people. From Jeanette's View says, to be fair, I think many businesses have gone downhill since the pandemic. Things are different and not in a good way. I am for Mark says prices, lightning lanes, wait times, getting rid of Epcot's original theme are all problems in my opinion. I don't have a problem with Disney being inclusive and socially aware, but the way they've done it seems cheap and not genuine. I wish Disney would experiment more with their art and the parks. T-Peg Explores says, my viewpoint is being less favorable has nothing to do with social justice issues and everything to do with the price gouging, dilution of theme with Epcot and the disaster that is Genie Lightning Lanes. Joseph says, they saved me a lot of money in the last few years. I used to love going to the parks at least once a year for almost 40 years, and now I don't even care. I haven't been since 2019 and have no future visits planned, but I did go to Universal last year, and it was great. Dana says, Chapek, in my opinion, has ruined the Disney name and brand overall, starting with the Black Widow lawsuit and with Florida. Stay out of politics. Prices on things are just ridiculous. Bob Iger wouldn't have allowed any of this to have happened. Chapek needs to be fired sooner than later. Get Tom Staggs or Peter Rice in there as CEO. As we all remember, Tom Staggs, the former chief operating officer and former CFO that the Hollywood Reporter suggests was pushed out by Bob Chapek. And then, of course, Peter Rice, who he just fired as head of content, that was seen as his successor. Katrina, how's Bob Chapek doing?
You guys give him such a hard time. I think he's doing a great job.
Stellar?
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Oh my God. I got you guys. No, he's doing a horrible job. Listen, as a he's doing great to make money for. He's a good money maker, right? So he takes away pleasure, happiness, everything. He's like a dementor. He sucks all the happiness out of everybody because he's trying to capture the souls of people. So he's taking everybody's money, and that's how he's like making profit for people. But he's doing a really poor job of listening to people, and he's doing a really poor job of being a good CEO to give back to his employees. He has one thing in mind, and that's the green, and that's a horrible thing to think about, and putting that forward. I get, as a business, you need to make profit and you need to like think of how you can make money, but taking away things and charging for them now, and then also making your employees like little puppets and expendable items are like a horrible way to run a business. Because when a CEO says like, you're my family, and make like, that's, you want to feel that. And I sadly don't think he doesn't care about that. And it's horrible because when, Walt was, head, he thought of everybody as family. And he tried to take care of everybody, I think, in like the best way he could. And and then like when every CEO, like they've always tried to like, at least, yes, money's in the forefront, like that, you got to make profit. I get it. But you have to like also think of something that is equally pleasurable to the people that are having to pay for it. And right now with Lightning Lane, you pay extra, and it's just like, are you even getting a better deal? Because it's, it's just, I don't think you're really getting a better deal than you did like with like 3 fast passes, and you got included with your resort stay and whatnot. So sadly, no, I think like he's a horrible CEO. He's doing a bad job.
Yet again, another scathing perspective. We turned it back on over to you at our YouTube community page, and here's what you said. Lone Knight says, it really doesn't matter for all the whining and crying people are still buying tickets and extras like Genie Plus and still supporting the brand. It has to be more than just dips and shares. It has to be no one showing up to the parks. Daniel says, in all honesty, I look at the situation with Bob Chapek like a coach on a losing football team. At the end of the season, they fire him. Looking at the stock price and the whole political situation in Florida, that in my opinion, he totally mishandled, causing anger from the government and the employees. When the next earnings call comes out, he will have no way to explain away the failures that have stacked up under his reign as CEO. The board will fire him quicker than your Mickey ears can hit the ground. The way I see it, the board of directors are just giving him enough rope, and he's done. Andrew says, the way I see it, and this is me being idealistic, is to step into Walt Disney's shoes is a massive job, a job that would be crushing to most people. People like Walt Disney, Gene Roddenberry, Stan Lee, Bob Iger, and Steve Jobs don't come along very often, and to come after them is an impossible job, not to mention in a political climate like we are in now. No matter what you do, it's either not enough or wrong altogether. Kathy says, there is no guest experience or concern for the guest and their time in the parks. Chapek is concerned only about the bottom line, and that's money. Chapek sucks, and I'll be glad when he's gone. And Mitchell says, I think Chapek is like the cancer that is multiplying and spreading pain, suffering, and misery all over the Walt Disney Company.
Oh my gosh.
Certainly a lot of fans, and if he dares take the stage at the D23 Expo this year in Anaheim, I can only imagine the type of reaction he's going to get from Disney's most diehard of fans in that location. Now we turn it on over to all of you. When it comes to how Disney CEO Bob Chapek is doing, let us know in the comments. As always, we appreciate your perspective.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.